Good evening, morning, whatever. Time, at least on planet Earth, is pretty relative because there are time zones. Um, I don't know. My hair's doing a thing today, and I just don't want it to be distracting for both me and for you. So, where are we? What are we doing? Why do we even exist? Disclaimer, this is water. Otherwise, I'd be drinking the same wine for so long. I got a new jacket. It did not fit a member of my family, and so I acquired it, and I think it's awesome. I think it looks great, and I'm into it. We're gonna just hang out. We're just gonna hang out. There's not an agenda. Occasionally, I will have one of those, and I will make it abundantly clear. Ideally, hopefully, I will. If I don't, yell at me. But today we're just perusing some data that I found that I thought was really, really spicy, and let's begin. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I have some peanut butter toast on a bunny rabbit plate. There's two little bunnies. See them? See them? Stole these from my family. By stole, I mean asked, and they said absolutely. So, how many people have ever lived on planet Earth? I will throw in all these sources for all this data in the description. It's not what you're here for. If you have questions about the data's validity and all that, totally valid, and you may do that on your own free time. We're gonna move on with my life. First rule of data science. This is a Walkerism. I came up with this, and it's not. I think it's true. Rule number one: the data lies, for a multitude of reasons, which we will talk about more later. Incompleteness, bias, and many other things. That being said, let's try and get to that nugget of goodness. Let's try and learn something. So, humanity is a species that has been around for a long time. There have been some different versions of it, which is really fascinating. Homo sapiens are just one of the two-legged walking hairy, or mildly less hairy, depending on your back hair, of the human species that's ever existed on planet Earth. It's pretty wild. And how many of us have there been? Well, first off, fun fact, most humans are dead. It's a fun little one-liner at parties. Most humans are dead. Isn't that grand? But roughly, according to these people, there have been about 10 billion humans. Obviously, we're in 2020 now. And that's a lot of humans. 110 billion humans. And a way disproportionate amount of them are alive today. We've really shoved our carrying capacity into the stratosphere with our technology, and got some benefits, got some worries and hazards and whatnot. But that's just a fun little fact. There have been 110 billion humans who have ever lived. So if for whatever reason you get to heaven or hell and there's 111 billion, you can infer that there are aliens. Okay. So, historically, we've discussed how many people have died. It's been a whole hell of a lot. And now we want to discuss how they died. Well, far and away, and I hope I have this data somewhere in here, but it is infectious diseases that just have slaughtered so many human beings. Apparently, AIDS is the 10th of all the, the biggest killer diseases in history. And this is 2014. Perchance things have changed due to our good friend, the rhona. But AIDS, which is not that old, it's only been around, that's a lot. Just since 2001, this is the top 10th murderer of the humans in the world. Cholera killed a whole bunch of people, 40 million. Influenza, that's a lot. Also, I believe a lot of this, just the 1918 flu pandemic did a number on the humies. The literal plague and it's commonly referred to as the Black Plague. Wouldn't be surprised if that gets a name overhaul. Got some weight to that. The Black Death. Goodness. An example of an overloaded term, our color scheme. So, the plague killed a whole bunch of people. Not that big a deal anymore. Smallpox. The CDC literally has the last known sample of smallpox on planet Earth. Why can't we just destroy it? It's complicated, and maybe, I don't know. Not the point. It's just, that's freaky that, I live in a state where I think, an hour from my house, this exists. This thing that killed 500 million people. Okay. And there's the whole Native American settler colonialism component, and it's all grand and delightful. Okay. We could learn about South Africa's stricter alcohol laws, because doesn't that sound exciting? Tuberculosis. 1 billion frickin' human beings. In today. Got it. Yeah. But essentially, a third of the world's population is infected. Okay. That is so many. That is so many people. And then last, and certainly not least, okay, 150. 150. Also, look at the, 500, double that, 1 billion, and then 50 times that. And malaria, which I don't know almost anything about, but that's a whole lot of human beings. And we'll get to a bit more in the current world situation with this sort of stuff. This is all very high-level stuff. We're just hanging out. Alrighty. So, the internet is a delightful place, full of spicy characters and caricatures. I was perusing some of this research, and one of the things was in a forum style, and the guy was like, these are the top 10 leading causes of death. And some guy popped in, and he's like, wrong, you forgot number 1. I'm like, what is this asshole doing? And he was like, it's abortion. I was like, okay, buddy, whatever. But I'll double check. And so I did. First off, this is not a discussion on, is it a person? Is it ever okay to kill somebody? Pro-life, pro-choice. We're not doing that. We'll make people angry at a later time. And this is not, it's not about me. I don't even know if I have an opinion. There are other fish I'm trying to fry. How about that? Other people are, who are quite competent and well-spoken and well-thought are working on it. Okay. Caveats away. So between 2019 and 2015, there were this many unintended pregnancies. Hashtag whoopsie. And 61% of these ended in abortion, which translates to 73 million abortions. Regardless of which side you fall on the pro-life, pro-choice thing, that is a big number. That's a lot of oopsies. That's a lot. That is a number. And in comparison to, graphs we'll see later, which are, the current number of death humies every year. And, so some of this stuff is just really interesting. What is this? This is abortion rate. What is definitely interesting is how vibrant these discussions are in countries like the U.S. And I don't know. I can speak for the U.S. It's a very vibrant conversation. And yet, where most of these events are happening per woman capita, that's a fun stat. It's not really the problem, according to this. Or it's a smaller portion of the problem. How about that? You can see this man's delightful dreadnoughts right here. I'm very proud of that joke. I just came up with that. Cheers to me. This is a mug of my dog, by the way. Yeah, my lovely. Okay, this is really wild. So let's talk about it. And, you know, in the countries where abortion is broadly legal, the abortion rate is 40%, and the unintended pregnancy rate is 58%. In countries where it is prohibited altogether, you have the same exact abortion rate and a much higher unintended pregnancy rate. What? What? I don't know. That's really funky. And then, you know, these, I don't know, man. It's a messy subject. These have trended down a lot over the years. 1990, 2019, gone down a little over 10%. Unintended pregnancies. And then here's our call to action. We're doing no call to action. We're just looking at data and misinterpreting and understanding it. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting how money is correlated, you know, high income is highly correlated with low abortion rate. Like substantially, like 3 orders of magnitude about abortion rate. So if you have money, you're less likely to have an abortion. And you're less likely to have an unintended pregnancy if you got the MUNs. Or if you live in a wealthy country. You know, what's the definition of a wealthy country? La 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 la. This is very high, quick overview sort of stuff. Next up. So, more recently, as in the instance of the 2019, which you can no longer say was last year, because we're in 2021, but close enough, the primary cause of death was, what are these 2 things? Oh, we have I love this, a lot of the graphs we're looking at today I just think are really pretty, because I've encountered some that are just hideous recently, and it's nice to see some good ones. So, let's make sure we're still recording. That we are. Alright, so ischemic heart disease, aka heart disease, is substantially number 1. This is what, 9-ish million globally? And, you know, that has gone up, but it only goes up because others have gone down. So, it's also interesting to, putting this graph together would be interesting, of a cause of death and the average age of the person who died to that disease, right? Like neonatal conditions, unless you're Benjamin Button, you know, you don't, you know, if you died to heart disease, you might have been 80 years old. If you died to neonatal disease, you might have been 8 hours old. So the one is more desirable from that perspective. Okay. Stroke, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, lower respiratory infections, neonatal trachea, Alzheimer's, diarrheal diseases, diabetes, and the kidneys. This is very different from deaths in the U.S. There's a lot more like accident and, I don't know, less biological stuff. But this is a great frickin' dashboard. This is awesome. Alright, so here's a website. It's about life expectancy. And this is where we kind of get into some real spicy meatballs. So we're going to go way back. And all we know about is those pesky frickin' UKians. And we are going to zoom out because I want to see this stuff. Alright. 2019. So in the year 1543, in the UK, the great land of the Queen, the life expectancy was 33.9. Note, this is average. What is average skewed by? You know, it's one of the least reliable statistics, but it's also quite useful. But basically, a lot of this data is going to be skewed by low birth mortality rate or whatever it is. Basically, most of the time, children did not make it. So you had to have a lot of children to pass on your family line. So people might have lived to be 50, but the average life expectancy would be like 25 because 1 in 5 people wouldn't make it past, or like 4 in 5 people wouldn't make it past a month. Don't check my math on that. I know it's not right. It's just an example. All right, so when we actually started seeing some stuff, all right, so let's just go here. 1881, the illustrious year. There's a lot of red. There's a lot of dark, hues and oranges. 44.7 years, 39 years, 29 years, 30 years, and a whole lot of just no data, like a whole lot, which is a whole other aspect of this, which is scintillating. Notably, Australia is high through, I'm pretty sure, like all of this. I'm just giving spoilers. All right, so 1880, whatever we were, we could see that things are not amazing. And this is not that long ago, 1886. All right, we get to early 19s. Okay, things are pretty terrible still. And trying to make sure we don't get into the 1918 influenza nor the World War I. So before that, now I don't know all the world's history and whatnot, but basically let's just, the main point is these numbers are terrible. They're so bad. And there's still like, Africa? What's Africa? Australia? The most deadly place on the planet? It's not what the numbers say. And then we speed forward. We have the Great Depression. We have the war to end all wars, which was not. We realize Africa exists. Oh my God, what? There's an Africa? Just 30, but like these are some big countries, a whole lot of people. And that is not a good number. These are 27 years? These are not good numbers. The US doing better. Canada doing better. So some places, a lot of Europe picking up 63. Sweden. Supposedly some of my blood is from Sweden. I don't really know or care, but supposedly. All right, and then, oh my God, there's this place called Africa. How are they doing? Comparatively, it's a little rough. India, having a tough time. If I'm focusing on one country more than the other, I don't know why. Sweden still kicking ace and taking the names. We got the South Americas. We call them South Americas. I'm sure there's like something horrible about that kind of joke. Whatever. Globally, the hue has changed. The early 19s were brutal, hard, and short, and then, we had that whole World War II thing, which was a real fun time, and then, what have we here? And notice it just keeps getting blue sky coming in me, nothing but blue sky. There we go. And this is where we are basically a year ago. California, Australia. 83 fucking years! Nobody lived that long a while ago. Now, boom, bitch. 83 years. Russia, kicking ass. China, kicking ass. Notably, let's shit on the QAnon people at every opportune moment. Your people too, I just think you're wild and weird. China, 76.9. Oh, fuck. I thought it was longer. Okay. You may shit on me. That's fine. But Japan, those lovely weebs, 84.6. So we will be optimistic when we can and pessimistic when we need to be. And this is an opportunity when we be like, okay, we got a good ass thing going here. And me as a young gun with nothing to lose is kind of stupid because supposedly I have literally triple my current existence, or double, I should say. I have a long time to live. Is the point. Statistically, things go awry. Africa's still not sort of where a lot of the other places in the world are at, but in comparison, It's insane. Like, yeah, 1939. I don't know what's South Africa. Who's Elon Musk? Nobody knows. And now, the improvement is marked, whatever the phrase. That's water. I just realized. So the question as to what caused this. Is it technology? Can we suckle at the teat one more time? To some extent, but it is not unfair to say that it is medicine, and it's many things, but one of them certainly is medicine, and the dealing with malaria and tuberculosis and these sorts of things, which slaughtered most of humanity for all of time. Come on, this is why we get to look at data, because we get to make sentences like that and be like, that is factually true. Malaria, the big bad malaria. Okay, welcome to the world. I live somewhere in here. Please don't hunt me. And COVID deaths global. Let's actually look at the data for this. I haven't done this in a very long time. And so why are we making fun of the U.S. a lot and calling it a capitalist hellscape? Whether or not capitalism is related is another discussion. But a hellscape, nonetheless, most certainly, is because... So, globally, there have been, it's been roughly a year since it is currently January 10th or so, and the virus has been present in the U.S. for about a year, a little bit less than a year, but close enough to be meaningful for the comparison to our other metrics, where there's been time to gather data, and the U.S. has had 22.4 million cases, with a population of something like 375 million. And the next highest country in the world had less than half that, almost a third of that. And the deaths are like double anyone else, or very close to double, or more than double. Why? Why? I'm gonna spend some time after we finish hanging out and try and learn anything about why the heck that could be, because that's interesting. I mean, the density of the population in India is some huge number denser than the U.S., and yet that's way less. And just, the total population is way less. We can also do also, thank you to Google for making this. This is, like, super great. Some bit of the contact tracing sort of stuff here, which is interesting and spicy. So here's more of a per capita type of thing, which, yeah, so some countries didn't do this. There we go. Okay, wow, I haven't actually looked at this. So this is basically per capita. It's per million, but the point is that it's a standardized, normalized. I mix those up every single time, and it makes me so angry because they're both such useful tools. But you could say, that this is a metric of how shittily you handled the pandemic, which is pretty spicy. So Belgium, San Marino, the UK, the motherfucking Boris Johnson UK, Italia, I will not attempt, Czechia, Bulgaria, Peru, Montenegro, Panama, Armenia, UK, the UK. The United States is way up there. And who killed it? Who did good? Maybe we don't know. The Vatican? That's wild. Look at that. St. Kitts and Nevis. A lot of people. Thailand? Sorry, I'm skipping past, like, where is this? Who are these people, right? To some extent, we want to see the big players. Tanzania, well done. Cambodia, all the fun names. Papua New Guinea, Papa. China, 3. What? Wait, what the fuck? Some of these numbers are tiny. Let's look at cases. That's probably better. It's the most number of cases. Had you have 150,000, this many recovered, or maybe this data is shit, actually. Because I'm seeing a bit of a gap here. I'm seeing 60,000 people that just went fucking missing. Or that still have the disease. That is possible. And we're... What the fuck? Okay. So, in the United States, there's a state-based system. If you didn't know, I live in the illustrious Georgia. Big fan, big fan. It's got some great history, which I might get up the gumption to talk about at some point, but I'm too scared for the time being. So, California, Texas, Florida, New York, and Illinois having a real rough time. Ohio, Georgia. Oh, great. We're way up there. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right. So we're not gonna, because this is like a very cluttered dashboard. We're just going to note that the numbers are roughly similar and tell a similar story. So totally different data source, Johns Hopkins, and just showing that second source validation. All right. So, humanity, leading causes of death in the U.S. This is to compare against the data we just saw. Heart disease, cancer, accidents. Okay, I was right. Nice. Chronic, you smoke. Smoking is a fascinating subject on funding and empathy, which we will not get into right now. But basically, breast cancer does not kill nearly as many people as lung cancer does, and it's one could posit that it is because nobody gives a fuck about the people who are addicted to nicotine. Moving on. And other stuff. Note. These are infectious diseases, but it used to be infectious disease way up here, and now it's not. So, hurrah for Hollywood. I look like that. Isn't that wild? That's me. Someday I will cease to be surprised by that. It's just wild that like I have a body. Isn't that weird? I think it's weird. All right. So note, highest number 655, 600, and then way down to 167, as compared with 370. So that makes that the third highest cause of death in the U.S. for the year of 2020. I think this is, what year is this? I think it's recent. God damn it. 2018. Awesome. Okay, so for the year 2018 and the year 2020, the third cause of death in the U.S. is coronavirus. I remember at the, and this is still a very popular argument, which is, just open it back up. It's not that bad. We'll just get over it, herd immunity. And there is a inflection point where that does make sense, because there's always a risk with dying, right? You could have an accident, and the chance of that happening are, where'd it go? Well, they're the third most likely cause of death, so be careful, folks. Hold my beer. And, can't we just go back to normal? Can't we just kind of like not look at this thing and it will go away? No. No, we can't. Doesn't mean we couldn't do contact tracing. Doesn't mean we couldn't do short-term testing, fast testing, whatever the word. It's going to drive me mad. I feel like that's like a huge subject I should be furious about and should learn more about. And there are a lot of those. My anger is waning. All right, so we've talked about some spicy data sets that are incomplete, and I don't have enough of a formed opinion, but that's not the point. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm trying to inform myself, and we get to hang out and have a good time and some coffee and some peanut butter honey toast while doing so. This is a new some new stuff from OpenAI. clicked a button, and it went to the same page, so how about that? This is some new research from the folks over at OpenAI in our good old San Francisco. I think these guys are freaking sick and awesome. And they put out this new stuff, which is like, these are like sister papers, right? They're connecting text and images, creating images from text. So I'm sure these are similar architectures or something like that. But OpenAI doesn't publish often, and when they do, it's typically pretty spicy stuff. So, Google DeepMind, they're just shitting out papers out the wazoo, but OpenAI less so. So I'm excited to jump into this nonsense because the intersection between the language system and the visual system are wild, and it's one of the reasons we're doing this show as a show that is visual and audio and not just the written word. It's more natural, humans and oral histories and animal gruntings and whatnot. So you can look forward to potentially learning a bit about this stuff, or not do that at all and go do something else. Okay, I have been Walker Stife. I hope this was fun. I had fun, and I don't have a good send-off yet, so just you be you at all costs. Ooh. Do I think that's true? I don't know. It sounds spicy. Whatever. All right.